Oh my god, look how long it's been.
I know, right? 16 years with you in my life, this house, this family, and our daughter who's always stuck on her.
Siddharth, you need to start including yourself with us.
Yes, dear, you don't spend enough time with us these days.
Sorry, I'm busy.
How much media is too much media? I'd say definitely for someone who revolves their whole world around it.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, I'm Yusra Wahidi.
And I'm Sadaf Hashimi, and this is Dr. Julia. Thank you for making the time to talk to us today, Dr. Julia.
Well, thank you for having me.
And today we will be discussing a topic through a short film, which is to what extent does Bradbury's portrayal of the media impact the mental health of characters in Fahrenheit 451?
And how that correlates to the impact that the media has on the mental health of teenagers in today's society.
To begin with some background information, the novel Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury is set in a dystopian society where firemen are to set books on fire in any houses where they're hidden at to prevent its citizens from unhappy and dangerous information. The novel tells us the story of Guy Montag, who takes pleasure of his job as a fireman, but throughout the novel he struggles with his existence, the value of his job, his relationship with his wife Mildred, and mainly the oppressive society he lives in.
The scene that we just witnessed relates to Montag's relationship with Mildred because in part 1, when Montag feels sick the next morning after burning woman with her books, he asks Mildred to turn off the parlor. Mildred then replies and tells Montag that the characters in the TV show are her family. We clearly see how these scenes reveal an example of how media is used to replace human connection.
Dr. Julia, do you have any psychological sayings about this?
Yes, I actually do. To back up what Sadaf just said, a recent study from 2021 by 5 very credible authors on media use attention and mental health of teens reveal that media consumption does in fact replace human connection.
Sadaf, dinner is ready. Sadaf, I said dinner is ready.
Sadaf, your music is too loud. Take the headphones off and leave us.
I'm gonna go and eat in the living room. The show's about to start and I cannot miss it. That was a little too relatable.
Which reminds me of how it relates with the novel. The relationship between Montag and Mildred appears to be very distant. Mildred continues to ignore Montag as she is consumed with watching her parlor walls and wearing her seashell earbuds. Like in part 1, when Montag asks Mildred about how they met, she realizes that she doesn't even have the slightest clue, which is like really bad. Because imagine being so consumed with the media that it completely distance you from your loved ones to the point where you don't even remember how you met them.
And we are slowly seeing how the exposure of the media is distancing Sadaf from her family, mentally and physically, which is actually supported by another great study, Media Managing Mood. A look at the possible effects of violent media on affect is a study conducted by 4 well-educated authors that conclusively explore the relationship between media and its effect on mental health. Although the results didn't show any significant correlative effects between the usage of violent media and its long-term exposure, it did in fact still conclude that mass media completely tries to distance you from reality.
Babe, I'm really worried about Sadaf. Like, she's distancing herself away from us no matter how hard we try.
Me too. What does the media provide to her that we as her family cannot?
I don't know, but there's something about her that's gotten her badly addicted. Do you think she will try again?
No, don't think the negative, baby.
But I can't. I read a few articles the other day about how the suicidal rates are increasing a lot lately. See?
Oh, I read that one too. Apparently that one's the most searched and read.
As we just saw, the mom mentions how she is worried about Sadaf trying to attempt suicide, and in this case, again. The scene holds a very important correlation with the novel because during the beginning of the story, when Mildred attempts suicide and Montag calls for the emergency hospital, the two men who show up to save Mildred strangely divulge how often these suicidal cases occur within their society. And later in the story, we actually realize how the copycat effect is supported by the repetition of these suicide cases.
Yes, so the copycat effect is the similarities between the reason of performing the attempt of suicide, and it is clearly revealed in Sadaf and Mildred. We see that they both symbolize selfishness and mindlessness, as they look into the wrong things for happiness, which is the consumption of media. Dr. Julia, do you have any related sources that can strengthen our knowledge about the relationship between these two characters and the copycat effect?
There's this one study from a couple years ago on media impacts on suicide that examined how mass media generally affects the reason of the copycat effect in a total of 293 suicide stories. The study determined that the attributes of each story were huge key points of the copycat effect. But although the study's pretty old, its relevance to our world today is clearly a very huge topic.
Why can't I look like her?
Sadaf, sweetheart! No! What happened?
I just can't take it anymore.
And you know you can talk to us. We've always been here for you.
Yeah, I'm physically and mentally tired. I cannot do this anymore. I see all those girls on media with the perfect bodies, and I look like a rat compared to them.
Sadaf, you are beautiful. You just don't see yourself the way we see you. There is nothing wrong with your body or the way you look. And the media is just a place where everyone shows the best of themselves. Do you think they would post their bad pictures?
Exactly. And it may seem like they are having the time of their life, but after all, they only show their good moments. You should never compare yourself to what you see in the media, because a lot of it is just untrue.
And as your parents, we really want you to just take a break from all this media that you've been consuming, because we are aware about how badly it's affecting your mental health. But I feel like you should try to explore the positive side of it, maybe a little bit.
Yes, I agree. There are many educational and inspirational sources online that could actually be beneficial.
This really means a lot. I shouldn't have been acting like a roommate. I should have been acting like a family member.
You know, we're your parents. We have to love you no matter what.
Wow. This scene truly holds a lot, and I want to speak on it. We just witnessed the long-term effect of media consumption and its impact on Sadaf's mental health, which many studies prove the long-term effect of media addiction eventually does lead to mental burnout. Specifically, a very credible study on media addiction and burnout effectively discussed how the burnout caused by the media overall contributes to the addiction of media use. The results from the survey conclusively reported that addiction and mental disorders created by the media are all negative factors of burnout.
It feels pretty good to say that. I'm worth it. It's magic, that phrase. And know that with or without the makeup, being you, being authentically you, is all that matters.
I think that is a really good stopping point.
This is probably the best short film I've ever watched.
I agree. The correlations between the film and Fahrenheit 451 were very vivid, and the sources you mentioned really helped support our main point.
Which was that while the parallel of Bradbury's vision reveals the negative impacts of the media on the mental health of characters in Fahrenheit 451 and its extent on the mental health of teenagers today,
It is apparent that there is a perimeter where media can also be used constructively.
thank you so much for watching.
ابني اسمعني هتدلعني تاخد عيني كمان حبيبي قرب بص وبص بص زعلان ازعل ازعل نص نص لحسن حبعد ابعد قهوة نص وهتبقى انت اكيد خسران حبيبي قرب بص وبص بص زعلان ازعل ازعل نص نص
If I came up with my